Hey there, Jeep Diver. You ready to get those brain synapses firing?
Hmm.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into some cutting-edge AI research
Hmm.
that has the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with technology.
Right.
We're talking about LLMs, but not just any LLMs.
Yeah.
Imagine LLMs that can actually think before they answer.
That's right. We're used to LLMs like ChatGPT spitting out responses based on their vast training data.
Yeah.
But what if we could give them a moment of pause?
Okay.
A chance to actually process the information
Yeah.
and formulate a more thoughtful response.
Yeah.
That's what this research explores.
Okay, so paint the picture for us.
Okay.
We're talking about giving LLMs the tech behind those chatbots we all know and love,
Right.
an actual thinking step.
Hmm.
Why is that so groundbreaking?
Well, think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to write a novel,
Okay.
but you can only process one word at a time,
Oh, wow.
with no time to plan or revise.
Right.
That's kind of how traditional LLMs work. This research wanted to see what happens when you give them a dedicated thinking period before they even start formulating an answer. And get this, the researchers believe this could be beneficial for a whole range of tasks,
Interesting.
way beyond the usual logic puzzles or math problems.
You're telling me this isn't just about making AI better at Sudoku?
Right?
What else could this thinking ability be applied to?
Think bigger marketing copy that practically writes itself.
Wow.
Health advice tailored to your specific needs, even code that practically debugs itself.
Hold on, AI writing its own marketing copy.
Yeah.
Now that's a thought that gets the creative juices flowing.
Exactly. And the exciting thing is this isn't just some far-off concept.
Right.
Products like OpenAI's O1 are already incorporating this idea of more deliberate thought into their LLMs, and we're seeing some really impressive results.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
So how did the researchers actually teach an AI to think? Did they slip it a copy of Plato's Republic?
Not quite. Their method is called thought preference optimization, or TPO for short.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Instead of trying to train the LLM with human-written thoughts,
Right.
which would be incredibly time-consuming and potentially even bias the system,
Right.
they let the LLM come up with its own thought process.
Wait, let's go.
Yeah.
The LLM is thinking about how to think.
It is.
That's next level meta.
It really is. They prompt the LLM to generate its own thought process in natural language, basically just words,
Okay.
followed by its response to the given instruction.
Okay.
Then a separate judge model, which only sees the final responses,
Okay.
decides which ones are best and worst.
So it's like a baking competition where the judges only taste the final cake,
Yeah.
not the flour-covered chaos in the kitchen.
Exactly. The LLM is judged solely on the outcome of its thinking, not on the actual thoughts themselves.
Right.
This feedback is then fed back to the LLM.
Okay.
So it learns to produce thoughts that consistently lead to better responses. Pretty ingenious.
Totally. It's like training a dog without having to understand its barks.
So yeah.
Just rewarding the good behavior.
Right.
But how do we know this thinking approach actually holds up?
Yeah.
Did they put it to the test?
They did. To evaluate its performance, they used two standard benchmarks,
Okay.
AlpacaVal and Arena Hard.
Okay.
Think of these benchmarks like obstacle courses for AI,
Right.
testing their ability to follow instructions and solve problems.
Okay, so our thinking LLM is on the obstacle course.
Yes.
How'd it do? Did it blow the competition out of the water?
Well, here's the thing at first.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Wait, seriously, you're telling me all that thinking didn't immediately translate to gold medals?
Yeah, it turns out simply prompting an LLM to think actually made its performance worse initially.
Wow.
It seems the models optimized for speed and direct responses were thrown a bit off by this new requirement to pause and ponder, like asking a sprinter to run a marathon without any training.
Fascinating. So the thinking was slowing it down. It's like our brains on a Monday morning.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
But, and here's the really exciting part, after several rounds of this TPO training,
Okay.
the thinking LLM started to pull ahead.
Uh-huh.
It began to outperform the models that didn't have that explicit thinking step.
So it needed a bit of a warm-up. Like, our brains need that first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But once it got going, it was off to the races.
Right.
Give me those results. How much better did our thinking LLM get?
It actually became quite impressive. Even though it was a relatively small model, only 8 billion parameters, it achieved a win rate of 52.5% on AlpacaVal.
Okay.
That put it right up there with the top performers. And on Arena Hard, it hit 37.3%,
Wow.
making it the best of its size.
Wow, those are some serious bragging rights,
Yeah.
especially going up against the big leagues.
Right.
But I'm curious, what kind of thinking was the LLM actually doing? Was it all just logic puzzles and equations, or
Oh.
were things getting a bit more uh, creative?
That's what's so cool about this research. It went beyond the typical AI tasks. They wanted to see what types of tasks benefited most from this thinking step.
Okay.
So they created their own specialized evaluation with 20 different categories.
Ooh, a custom-made AI obstacle course.
Yeah.
Tell me they had it doing parkour next. What kind of categories are we talking about?
They tested everything from the usual suspects like logic and reasoning
Right.
to things like language translation, marketing, even health,
Okay.
and the results.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say they were pretty eye-opening.
Okay, you can't leave me hanging like that.
Oh, okay.
What did they find? Did our thinking LLM ace the creative challenges?
It wasn't just about being a logic whiz,
Okay.
though it did well there too.
Mhm.
The thinking actually boosted performance across the board.
Yeah.
We're talking about AI that could translate languages more effectively,
Okay.
write more persuasive ad copy, maybe even offer more helpful health advice.
Hold on. You're telling me this thinking could make AI more creative, more persuasive, maybe even more empathetic. That's kind of blowing my mind right now.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Giving LLMs this ability to think could be the key to unlocking their potential in fields we haven't even considered before.
Right.
This isn't just about AI that's smart.
Okay.
It's about AI that's insightful,
Yeah.
creative, maybe even a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, dare I say human?
Okay. Now my mind is officially doing backflips.
Yeah.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Sure.
how did the researchers analyze this thinking process? Did they figure out how it was evolving over time?
They did. They dove deep into the actual thoughts the LLM generated,
Okay.
looking at two key things.
Okay.
First, how the types of thoughts varied depending on the task.
Right.
Because translating a language probably involves different mental processes than writing a poem or debugging code, right?
Good sense. Different tasks,
Yeah.
different thought bubbles popping up. What was the second thing they looked at? Right, you'd approach a sonnet differently than you would a calculus problem. So what was the second key thing they found as they dug into the thoughts the LLM was generating?
They discovered that as the LLM became better at thinking, its thoughts actually got shorter and more efficient.
Okay.
It's almost like it was learning to streamline its mental process, cutting out the unnecessary steps and getting right to the heart of the matter.
So it's like it was going from a rambling brainstorm session to those laser-focused aha moments. Learning to think smarter, not harder. I love that. But let's be real. No scientific breakthrough is without its limitations.
Right.
What caveats did the researchers point out about this TPO method?
One thing they highlighted was the need to control the length of the responses.
Right.
Remember that judge model we talked about? It turns out some judge models have a bit of a bias toward longer responses.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we might assume a longer essay is automatically a better one.
It's the classic quantity over quality trap, even for AI.
Right.
So how did they keep the LLM from turning into a digital chatterbox, churning out pages and pages of thoughts?
They cleverly use something called appropriately enough length control.
Okay.
Basically, they penalize longer responses during the training process,
Right.
encouraging the LLM to be more concise and to prioritize those potent, to-the-point thoughts.
Ah, so it's all about setting those digital guardrails, making sure the thinking stays focused and efficient. Were there any other limitations they encountered?
Interestingly, one area where they ran into some difficulty was with math-heavy problems.
Okay.
Despite all the thinking, the LLMs actually performed worse on these tasks
Really?
than they did when just generating direct responses.
It does seem odd. You'd think math would be a slam dunk for a thinking AI.
Yeah.
What happened there? Did all that abstract pondering short-circuit their number-crunching abilities?
It seems that the way they trained the models,
Okay.
focusing on broader instruction following, might have inadvertently led to a decrease in their specialized math skills. It's like, if you spend all your time learning to play the piano,
Right.
you might gradually lose some of your ability to play the guitar.
A classic case of use it or lose it, even in the world of AI.
Right.
But even with those limitations, this TPO method still feels like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It's like we've opened the door to a whole new level of AI capability.
Absolutely. And this is really just the beginning.
Yeah.
The researchers themselves pointed out several exciting avenues for future exploration.
Okay.
For instance, they believe that training LLMs on even more diverse thought prompts could lead to even more creative and insightful thinking down the line. Imagine the possibilities.
It's like expanding their mental playground, giving them even more raw material to work with. What else are they hoping to explore?
They're also very interested in seeing how this thinking approach scales to larger LLMs.
Oh, yeah.
We've mostly been talking about an 8 billion parameter model,
Right.
but some of the heavy hitters out there have hundreds of billions of parameters. Imagine the potential if we could get those behemoths thinking strategically and creatively.
Right. We're talking about going from teaching a dog to fetch to unlocking the potential of a whole pack of wolves working in concert. Who knows what they'll be capable of accomplishing together?
Yeah.
But on that note, any other tantalizing hints about where this research might lead? What has you particularly excited about the future of thinking LLMs?
You know, one thing that really struck me was the potential impact on how we interact with AI in the future.
Okay.
Right now, we tend to see LLMs as tools.
Right.
We input a command, they spit out an answer. But what if instead of just receiving those outputs, we could actually understand the why behind them?
Yeah.
What if we could collaborate with AI on a deeper level,
Okay.
bouncing ideas off of each other and gaining insights from each other's thought processes?
So instead of just being handed the solution, we could actually walk through the AI's reasoning process and understand how it arrived at that solution.
Yeah.
That would be incredible for building trust and transparency,
Yeah.
not to mention sparking even more innovation.
Precisely. And this research suggests that this kind of collaborative, insightful interaction with AI might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Imagine being able to ask an LLM to think out loud as it tackles a problem, giving us a glimpse into its creative process, or helping us grasp its rationale.
Okay, deep divers. I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown. Who knew that giving LLMs a moment to think could unlock such a vast realm of possibilities? From more creative problem solving to more collaborative human-AI interactions, it seems like we're on the verge of a whole new era in artificial intelligence.
It's a truly exciting time to be exploring the potential of AI. What we're seeing is that even seemingly small changes like introducing a dedicated thinking step can have a profound ripple effect, leading to more creative, more insightful, and potentially even more human-like AI systems.
It's a powerful reminder that the future of AI isn't just about bigger models or faster processing speeds. It's about finding those elegant, innovative approaches that unlock entirely new dimensions of capability. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we're left with a question for you to ponder. What could you achieve? What problem could you solve with an AI partner capable of not just answering, but truly thinking? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.